Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle then for another match preview. Tonight we preview the big game at the weekend, Brentford versus Leicester City. And yeah, what a game this one's going to be. And as Ruud van Nistelrooy, I'm sure will be watching on with this one for sure, is he won't be in charge of this weekend's game, is what being confirmed. So his first game will be, of course, against West Ham United, but we head to the Gtech this weekend, and yeah, it's going to be a tricky game against a good Brentford side this season for sure. I'm going to be joined by Mike from the Ealing Road podcast. He's going to give me the lowdown on the Bees this season, and yeah, let's get going. Hit that like button for me, subscribe if you haven't already, really appreciate it. Let's see who's in the comments. Rossi, LCFC 1993, be a good game on Saturday. Hello, David. How are you? Is it an Ipswich fan? No, it's not an Ipswich fan. It's a Brentford fan. Hello to the Ipswich fan, whoever's the Ipswich fan is in the chat. But yeah, let's get my guest in, Mike from the Ealing Road podcast, Brentford. Mike, how are you, mate?
All good, mate. All good, mate. How are you?
Very good. Tell us what you do at the Ealing Road podcast then.
Pretty much the same thing as you, mate. No, we do previews, full-time shows. I've got my own channel as well where I go a little bit more in depth with tactics and look at some stats and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, we're part of the content churners, aren't we?
Yep, for sure. Mike, let's talk about the opposition before we talk about this weekend's game. Brentford. I mean, Thomas Frank's got them playing some very good stuff this season. You sit 11th in the Premier League. What's gone well for Brentford this season, do you think, with the good start that you've had so far?
I think what's gone badly, it has been our defence. But what's really positive going forward, and I think that we kind of said it from the start of the season, is that going forward our team's going to be a lot of fun with the dynamic front three, the ones that we have, KLP, Keane Lewis-Potter, I should say, for people that don't support Brentford, Brian Mbeumo, who a lot of people will know about, Johan Wieser as well, who I'm sure a lot of people will have in their FPL teams. It's been a lot of fun watching Brentford attack this season, not so much defensively. We kept our first clean sheet away at Goodison Park on Saturday, and we were down to 10 men in that game, so that was quite impressive. But yeah, it's been a lot of maybe fun for the neutral if you're kind of watching us from the outside and you're seeing us score for the first, seeing us score in the first minute for 3 consecutive weeks, then that is quite fun. But when you're supporting the club and every game at the Gtech seems to have at least 3 or 4 goals, I'd prefer if it was like a 3 or 4 goal winning margin as opposed to some of the ding dong games that we've had down at the Gtech.
Yeah, how have you dealt with our obviously Ivan Toney this season? Obviously, was the talisman money for Brentford for a number of seasons. I mean, how have they dealt with replacing him?
I think we kind of already went some way to playing without him last season when he was out with the band. So it wasn't anything new that we weren't going to be playing with Ivan Toney. But last season we had just a plethora of injuries all over the pitch. So it was quite disjointed and fragmented at times. Brian Mbeumo was out for lengthy spells. AFCON also affected our team. We had injuries just right through the spine. We still don't have any fullbacks at the club. We didn't have any fullbacks last season because they were both injured. But in terms of playing without Ivan Toney, Thomas Frank used him to the best of his ability, and we were a bit more direct in our first 2 seasons, and we did it to good effect, really. I think he recognised that we had one of the better strikers in the league, and we played to his strengths in terms of his hold-up play and his ability to be a target man and occupy defenders. But also he was quite, I think, a technically underrated footballer. With the ball at his feet, he was actually a lot better than people would probably give him credit for, or people that don't watch Brentford week in, week out. But in terms of adapting to life without him, I think this season you're seeing a real concerted effort from Thomas Frank and the players to be playing the ball on the ground, to be playing the ball out from the back, to be working on our game on the floor and to be developing patterns of play that we didn't actually have when we had Ivan Toney and when we had that kind of out ball up top. So it's a lot more fluid. There's a lot more movement. There's changes in and out of possession. That's really interesting to see. And it's just another example, I think, of Thomas Frank's flexibility and why I think he is an elite manager.
Yeah, Chelsea was obviously after him, weren't they, in the summer before they appointed Enzo Maresca. Frank's always been admired by a number of clubs, I remember when Leicester City was linked with him once upon a time when we'd lost, obviously, Brendan Rodgers. Talk to me about the key men, Wissa and Bumo, two players who have really hit the ground running this season and been a pivotal part in the way Brentford have gone about things.
Yeah, I think Bryan Mbeumo is just like, if you look at his numbers from when we signed him when he was in the Championship to where he is now, and even his record in the Premier League, he's not that far behind some of the best players in the league, and he's playing for Brentford. So he's just like he's an output machine. The goals, the assists, he's on penalties, he's great in FPL. He's a good player to have, good differential to be picking up. And we've known his quality, and he's just gotten better and better every season. The only thing that he struggles for is consistency. He'll score. He's a big moments player. He'll score goals and he'll get assists, but sometimes he does fade in the game a little bit. And who I've actually been more impressed with out of the two this season is Yohan Wissa. I think he's kind of filled Ivan Toney's shoes to a really good extent. He's kind of adapted from when we brought him in as a winger. He's now playing as that kind of sole number 9. But together, that's when they're the most destructive, because I think this season they're the most productive partnership in the league. I think they've got 15 goals between them, lots more assists. But yeah, no, both of them really, really, really lovely to watch. Both of them direct, both of them good at dribbling, both of them good at holding the play up. And obviously they've got a great connection as the pair of them. So they know where the goal is, and they're definitely a threat.
Dave talks about Norgard's red card. Obviously it was overturned. Ball was there to be won, of course. I guess that gives you a positive, doesn't it, ahead of the Leicester game?
Yeah, I mean, it ruined my day out, to be honest, at Everton. No, it didn't. I mean, the first, when you kind of freeze frame it and you slow it down, obviously it looks quite bad, but the fact that they've rescinded it kind of tells you the full story. But yeah, Norgard is a big boost. To be fair, he's not been in the greatest of form this season, but he's our captain, and I think he won't be out of form for too long. He never really is. But it would be good, I think, on Saturday, it would be good to kind of show a little bit more attacking intent from the start, which would mean sacrificing one of Christian Norgard or Vitaly Janelt or Matthias Jensen, in my opinion. But I'm not sure Thomas Frank will do that. I think he's probably a little bit more pragmatic than I am.
Let's go on to Brentford versus Leicester. Obviously, Leicester sacked Steve Cooper. Ruud van Nistelrooy looks like he's going to be the man to take over at the King Power Stadium. What's been your thoughts on Leicester?
I think it's a weird one. I think sort of since 2020 or since the season you guys went down, which was a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I think that obviously Maresca was kind of ended up being a dream appointment, and then you brought Steve Cooper in, and it all felt a little bit underwhelming at the time.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if the Forest links have anything to do with it. It's probably quite a bit of a lazy analysis, but he was always kind of maybe on the back foot more than another manager would have been if you'd have brought him in instead. I don't think there's been a properly, every time I've watched Leicester at least, I don't really see a clear identity on the pitch, but I don't think Steve Cooper's a manager to kind of instill a clear identity. He's quite solid. He plays on the counter, whereas Maresca, you've gone from a manager like Maresca, whose identity is so clear and the philosophy is this is how we're going to play and this is the structure we're going to play in, to then a manager who's the complete opposite. And he's also got links, very close links to Forest quite recently. Yeah. So it kind of just seemed like, I don't want to say disaster waiting to happen, but if you'd have asked me to put money on the first manager to get sacked this season, Steve Cooper would have been up there as number one.
Yeah, the thing is with the media, they don't look how Leicester fans' perspective have gone on Steve Cooper. You know what I mean? They've just based it on whatever opinions they've gave. To be fair, Cooper wasn't rated from the start. Let's be fair about it. You know, he shouldn't have been the man to take over after Enzo. They should have gone for the same style of manager, but they didn't. They took a whole 360 and he ended up with Cooper in it. You know, it went downhill. There was no game plan, no identity, and I just don't think the players could really know what Steve Cooper wanted from them, to be fair. And he obviously wasn't getting the results. with some of the games where we could have got games out of. We obviously beat Saints and Bournemouth, but I feel that papered over the cracks with how Steve Cooper's tenure at Leicester was going. But to sack him after 12 Premier League games, it's a points basis thing now, isn't it? And I think the Leicester owner was very reserved on the appointment from the off. And yeah, I just don't think it worked out for the fans, the owner, or the players itself, to be fair. I think everything just came in one whole section with him. But yeah, now he's gone. Rude takes over, and obviously Rude had a good time at PSV. Whether he could bring that to the Premier League with Leicester, and obviously he's got a job to keep us up, hasn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the Rude appointment, I think, is a good one. I think that's what you kind of need after someone like Steve Cooper, someone with a little bit of personality. He's got a pretty decent record in his short career so far. I think what's probably most important for Leicester, I think, even if you ended up going down this season, and I don't know what the mood is amongst Leicester fans in terms of where you kind of rate yourselves in the league, if you've seen enough from the players that you've got, and whether you might consider maybe doing anything in January. But as we know, I do think, like, if you did go down, you've got the points deduction waiting for you in the EFL, if I'm correct. And that means that, like, sort of staying up has got to be the number one priority. But in terms of someone that can inspire the fans, I think Rude is that person. The person, he's got a big history. He's a big Premier League icon in a lot of ways. So I think it's a clever appointment. And in terms of where Leicester need to be, I think maybe a longer term plan would have been someone like Graham Potter, but I feel like maybe over the summer that would have been the one to go for, as opposed to someone like Steve Cooper. But I think it's a fun appointment, to be honest. I think it will reignite the fans. You probably get a new manager bounce. I'm glad that he's not in the dugout on Saturday, because that would probably be against us. But yeah, no, I think it's a good appointment. He's got a good record, and obviously he comes with a lot of pedigree, being the man he is.
Yeah, he does. He brings a style of play that the players will be used to playing. And he brings that feel-good factor back. Something that's been missing. I know the players haven't really painted themselves in gold this season, regarding the performances and that. They could have done better in games. You could see that fight at times, but probably not enough of it, to be fair. And it's just madness when you go from one manager to another, and then another one within like a space of a year and a bit, in it. So yeah, it's mad. But it's Jamie Vardy's 9th permanent manager since signing in 2012. So, and obviously today's the day that he scored that goal against Manchester United to break Ruud van Nistelrooy's record. So I'm sure Jamie Vardy will be looking forward to working with him as well.
Yeah, no, it's fitting, very fitting. I saw that today, that the day that the links came out was the day that he broke Van Nistelrooy's record. So yeah, no, mate, Jamie Vardy's like, I can't believe he's still doing it. For one, he's still scoring goals. But I think now with the injury to Fatawu, I think he's probably your main goal threat. But I think it kind of just goes back to the recruitment over the summer. Like, you can't really be relying on Jamie Vardy to be a main goal scorer in the Premier League at this age, and to kind of not have a backup ready to go if he's to be injured, which is likely given his age. It is a bit dangerous, but like I say that, and he'll probably score on Saturday. Yeah. So I can't really say much, because he's like fine wine. He gets better with age.
The amount of teams that have wrote him off in the past, and then he comes.
Yeah, no, I'm not right anymore. No chance.
I said that about him, and then you think, no, I probably should have said nothing at all. Let's talk about the game. Leicester at home. I mean, we'll get on to score and team in a short while, but how of a game is this one for Brentford then? It's got to be a big game, man, it being at home. And obviously you are scoring at home, you are winning games at home, and Brentford will obviously look to make an advantage over Leicester in this one with the way Leicester's form's gone going into this game. But what are you expecting of this one and against the opponent?
I think you're right about it being good that it's at home for us. I think we've got the best home record in the league. We've only dropped points against West Ham at home, and that was quite a disappointing game. So I'm pretty sure, I want to say that I'm right, in that we've already got as many home wins this season as we did last season. Granted, our away record this year has been pretty terrible, but we have played against teams in the top 6 in 5 of those games. So Yeah, it's important this at home. Honestly, when we've played at home this season, it's just been utter chaos. Like, I can't really say much more. It's just been goals end to end. Ipswich came to our place with 2-0 up within the first 20 minutes. We then brought it back to 3-2. They had a man sent off. Then they equalised in the last minute, and then we scored again in the 96th. So honestly, it can be a little bit haphazard at times. It's not great for my heart rate when I'm at the game, but it's a lot of fun. Honestly, watching Brentford, and I'm sure, given that the new manager's coming in, it's going to give the Leicester players a bit of a boost.
Yeah.
The Leicester players will be fighting for their position in the team, given he's probably going to be there watching. So I do think I'm confident heading into it, because I don't think I could not be confident given our home record this season. I think 5 wins out of, or four wins out of 5, or 4 wins out of 5, or 5 wins out of 6, one of the two. At home, you'd be silly not to go into the game against a team that are in that kind of bottom echelon as the table, not confident. So, expect a good game. Expect some good attacking play from Brentford, especially from our front three. And I'm hoping for 3 points. I know you won't be.
Yeah, this is the type of game where we've got to go and give 100% and go and battle against Brentford, put that fight in. Obviously, the new man's going to be watching, isn't he? So he'll expect the team to go out there and give it their all and really put a show on for him. Leicester, with the fixtures that are coming up against you guys, West Ham, Brighton, Wolves, and them type of teams, and you're thinking these are the type of 4 fixtures where we can get points out, or if we're good on our day, and that's something we've got to go improve at the weekend, obviously. And Bumo and Wissa are the threat for Brentford. Leicester, on the other hand, I think, to be fair, it's going to be interesting regarding lineup. Obviously, Vardy, the threat's there in it. You can't really give him a sniff around the 12 yard, 18 yard box. So, yeah, it's one that it's going to be an interesting one, to be fair. I think maybe it could be end to end, where it could be a game, a lot of goals going, and hopefully it's in Leicester's bloody favour. Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting one. Let's have a look at the last Premier League results at Brentford. Obviously, they've played 2, haven't they? Leicester's won 1. You withdrew as well. That draw was last time out, a 1-1. I think that's when we were on very bad form. That was the season we got relegated. I think Barnes was the one who scored on that day against Brentford. But the one I'd refer to is the one where Tielemans scored the absolute belter against Brentford. I think Brentford are on form at that type of game as well.
Yeah, I think he only scores bangers, doesn't he, Tielemans? Only scores bangers almost exclusively. But yeah, I remember that. I was at the other end, but I saw it fly into the top corner from outside. Was it a half volley? I think it was a half volley outside the box. Absolutely flew into the net. But yeah, no, we've had some good games against Leicester. I know Harvey Barnes loves scoring against Brentford. Every single time we play Leicester or Newcastle, he always scores. James Maddison loves playing against Brentford. Every time we played Spurs or Leicester or even Norwich when he was there, he always scored against us. So yeah, no, the past. I remember first day, not last season, but the season before, when we came to your place and you guys went 2-0 up, and then we got a last-minute equaliser. Tony scored, De Silva scored a nice little curler from the outside of the box. So there's always been decent games. So yeah, I think Saturday does have the recipe for it. It's probably quite a change to 11 to the teams we've played. Leicester is in our 11 is quite changed from when we last played you. You probably won't recognise a lot of the players. But yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
I think it's a big difference for Leicester's side as well. You mentioned Maddison, Tielemans, and Barnes, obviously not at the club now, so you kind of think we don't have to worry about them types of players at the weekend. You have to worry about them when you play them against like a Tottenham, Newcastle, or an Aston Villa. So, no, it's, we've always had good games against Brentford. Obviously, we normally play well at your place and normally get the result, but obviously, times have been tough this season. Being a bloody Leicester fan with the results that have gone against us and that, and some of the performances that have not been good enough, that we need to really up our game, and this is one where we can go improve that. Talk to me about starting 11. How do we line up with this one, Mark?
I don't think we'll be too far from what we were against Everton on Saturday, given that Christian Norgard is not suspended now. I don't really expect too many changes, or too many wholesale changes at least. I would like to see a change in midfield, but I don't think Thomas Frank will do that. What we've seen this season is, and what kind of mentioned at the top of the show, we've kind of got a different shape when we're in and out of possession. So we start as a 4-3-3 when we've not got the ball, and that would be a back four of Sepp Vandenberg, Nathan Collins, Ethan Pinnock, and Keane Lewis Potter, who was at Leicester at one point, or through the academy, or one of the.
Was that Potter or was it Hull?
Was it? Oh, I thought he might have been at Leicester at some point.
I think signed him from Hull.
Yeah, no, we signed him from Hull, but I thought maybe early on in his career, maybe he came from Leicester. I sort of saw someone in the comments saying he was through the academy or something like that. But it doesn't matter. Keane Lewis Potter, he's doing a job at left back at the moment, and he's playing really well. But what we see is that when we're in possession, we tend to switch to like a 3-4-3. Keane Lewis Potter will be given a bit of license to go forward, and Mikkel Damsgaard, who's a left wing, will come into midfield to form like a diamond with Matthias Jensen, Vitaly Janelt, and Christian Norgard. And then on the right wing, you've got Mbeumo, and then down the middle, you've got Wissa. So that's how we'll line up, I think. You got to watch out for Mikkel Damsgaard, because he was someone that we bought a while ago, and he's taken a bit of time to set in. He's had a few injuries. He's looked a little bit lightweight at times, maybe not up to scratch with the pace of the Premier League. But this season, he has been one of, if not our best players. Really the creative spark in the team. He likes to play in the pockets, break the lines, take people on. I think he's right up there with some of the top players in the league. So I don't know, you've got someone that's very similar. He's on the screen right now, Buonanotte. He's a really, really tidy player, and he's back for the weekend, isn't he? I think he was suspended or injured last weekend.
Yeah, he's back for this weekend, and like Terry says, there can't be no schoolboy bloody defending. I mean, some of Leicester's bloody goals this season, you'd probably have seen the one against Chelsea with Wout Faes.
Yeah,
we've got to be better in them areas against Brentford. We've got to defend well. I think this is what Ruud's going to do. He's going to look at where that Leicester need to really fix, and obviously defence is obviously one of them, because we're leaking more goals, and the mistakes that we make, you'd think to yourself, bloody schoolboy errors, the amount of times we do it. Team for Leicester, Hermanson. I think Faes will start with Vestergaard. I think we'll go Christensen and Justin for left back and right back. Ndidi, Harry Winks, Buonanotte, Mavididi, El Canoes, and Jamie Vardy for me. I think that's a good side to put out. I think that's an attacking side. I think that's something we've got to do. We can't afford to sit off Brentford and let Brentford come into us. We've got to get at you lot. I think that's something that Ruud's going to change with the attacking format, and that he wants to see us score goals in bloody opponents, bloody goals, and not letting goals in our own. So, it's going to be interesting the way Ruud sets up. Mike, the last question is the score prediction.
I'm going to go, I think there'll be goals in it. I'm going to go 4-2 Brentford win.
Oh, interesting.
I can't see you guys keeping a clean sheet, especially after defending against Chelsea.
We've got this season many a times. I don't think I've got a clean sheet in mind either. So I tell you what, I'm going to go for a win to kickstart the Van Nistelrooy era. I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. Mike, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it. Let everybody know where they can find you, mate, before I let you go.
Yeah, at the Ealing Road podcast on YouTube, at Mike Live in 5 for a video that will come out, which would be like a kind of tactical deep dive into the game on Saturday. But yeah, at Mike Live in 5 and at the Ealing Road podcast.
Yeah. Cheers, Mike. All the best, mate.
Cheers, Jack. Nice one, mate.
That was Mike from the Ealing Road podcast. Appreciate him coming on. How about a Coley Vestergaard together? I mean, that could be interesting, Dave, to be fair, mate. Connor Cody, maybe. I mean, bit of leadership at the back. Heard Ruud likes to play 2 number 10s as PSB, so Buonanotte and El Canoes could fit there. Dave, you're spot on, mate. You are spot on. I mean, I've done my analysis on bloody Ruud van Nistelrooy, and yeah, I think that could work. If he can bring his PSB style of football to Leicester, it might actually fix things as well. We might actually work for us. Leicester till I die has gone for Hermanson, Christensen, James Justin, Akole, Cody, Winks, Skip. He's dropped Ndidi, Canoes, Mavididi, Buonanotte, Jamie Vardy, Any truth, Rude can't be in charge for Saturday? Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in charge for this weekend's game. I believe the other coaches who's been named, forgot his name, but yeah, he'll be in charge. Rude's first game, according to Leicestershire Live, is going to be against West Ham at home on Tuesday. So yeah, looking forward to giving the reception to Ruud van Nistelrooy. I'm ordering some Dutch flags, Jack. Interesting stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate it. Take care. Hopefully we will have, that's it, Ben Dawson. Yeah, there we go. I'm glad someone mentioned it. But no, really hope this official announcement will come soon from the club. Could be this evening. It could be tomorrow, but we'll see. And yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy's Blue and White Army. Let's get it. Guys, as always, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd really appreciate it as always. If you're watching this on playback, let me know your score predictions on that ahead of the weekend. If you're a Brentford fan or a Leicester fan watching this. And yeah, last comments. See Jack. Well done, Jack. Appreciate that, Dave. And thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. And I'll see you again very soon. Keep it, the final whistle. Hi all, thank you for watching the final whistle. If you enjoy all our content, please remember to smash a like, share and subscribe to the channel.